I'm Alex Armstrong, and this is GB News Originals. Today, we're looking into some explosive developments coming out of the White House. It's clear the battle over free speech in the digital age is far from over. President Trump has hit the ground running with a series of executive orders. These executive orders have thrown down the gauntlet, challenging the status quo and demanding accountability. These orders are taking aim at what many see as the dangerous erosion of free speech and collusion between big tech and government officials. Let's break it down. We have an executive order that, in typical Trump fashion, pulls no punches. He's dubbed it the Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship Order. And it does two crucial things. One, it shines a spotlight on the previous administration's role in what it calls the trampling of free speech rights of Americans. And two, it lays out a roadmap to prevent this kind of overreach in the future. It accuses the previous Biden administration of using the fight against misinformation as a smokescreen to infringe on Americans' constitutionally protected speech rights. And we're talking about censorship deplatforming, the works.
In addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly.
Now, let's be clear about something. The order states that the government-driven censorship is intolerable in a free speech society. I couldn't agree more. And I think many of our viewers would agree with that sentiment. It's laying out concrete steps to not only address the current situation, but to ensure it never happens again. And here's where it gets interesting, right? The Attorney General is being instructed to investigate the government's activities over the last 4 years. We all remember what happened there. They're looking for anything that doesn't align with the purposes and policies of this new Trump order. This could potentially uncover a treasure trove of information about how the previous Biden administration may have overstepped its bounds when it comes to free speech. But it's not just about looking back. The order is also setting new ground rules moving forward. Government employees are now prohibited from engaging in or facilitating censorship. Welcome news, right? Who would have thought it? And here's a big one. They can't use taxpayer funds to promote censorship any longer. Another no-brainer, in my opinion. This is a significant, welcome shift from the previous Biden administration. I'm sure many Americans will welcome it too. It's putting guardrails in place to protect free speech from government interference. End of.
Us blokes hate talking about a little thinning up top, and many of us settle with that balding look, but that wasn't for me, and that's why I went to Elite Hair, the world's leading hair loss clinic, and now I've had over 4,000 new hairs added to this barnet, and very soon I'm going to be rocking some brand new flowing locks, and you can too. So how does it work? Step 1, I sent the team a set of photos of my head. Step 2, I then spoke to one of the Elite Hair staff who looked through my photo submissions and worked out a treatment plan for me. Step 3, Elite Hair then organised accommodation and the treatment. I was at their state-of-the-art treatment centre in Istanbul, and their incredibly kind staff took me through the process, and before I knew it, I was in surgery. Elite Hair and their leading medical experts have specialised in pain-free treatments using the Sleep Deep method, and they really mean that. I felt incredibly relaxed the whole time, and I haven't felt any pain since. Check out Elite Hair using the link in the description. When you do, Elite Hair will provide you with a free personalised hair analysis. Then you'll join over 100,000 happy patients. Hit that link and start your hair growth journey like I did today.
Now let's talk about another order that's causing quite a stir in the US media. This one is targeting 51 intelligence officials who signed a letter suggesting that the Hunter Biden laptop story was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. We all knew how that went afterwards, don't we? That order immediately revokes all of their security clearances. And that's a big deal in the intelligence world. And it doesn't stop there. The Director of National Intelligence is being tasked with investigating and reporting on any inappropriate activity relating to these 51 officials within 90 days. He's moving fast. There's no time being wasted in this Trump administration. And the message is clear. There will be consequences for intelligence officials who use their positions to influence public opinion on political matters. But let's zoom out for a moment and consider what all of this means. These executive orders represent a significant shift in how the government approaches free speech and its long-term relationship with big tech. For years, we have seen growing concerns about the power of social media platforms to shape public discourse. We've heard accusations of bias, of censorship, of collusion with government agencies to suppress certain political viewpoints. The Hunter Biden story was just one of many that we can all remember, and the mass censorship of dissenting voices during COVID is one that we're all familiar with. These orders are a direct response to those concerns. They're saying it's time to protect free speech and hold those in power accountable. It is the First Amendment after all. So what could be the fallout from all of these orders? Well, one, we could see a wave of investigations into past government actions related to censorship and free speech. Two, a fundamental shift in how government agencies interact with social media platforms. And three, we could potentially uncover previously hidden connections between big tech and government officials, similar to how the Twitter files were exposed by Elon Musk when he bought the company. And of course, there's a renewed public debate about the limits of free speech and the role of government in regulating online discourse. Does that sound familiar to you? Of course, implementing all of these orders will not be without its challenges. We can expect severe pushback from those who believe that some level of content moderation is necessary to combat so-called misinformation and harmful content. And I'd even go as far to say, from those who have been complicit in government censorship, they certainly won't want this investigated. There is also the question of how these orders will be enforced and whether they can stand up to legal challenges. As we move forward though, whether you agree with President Trump's approach or not, there's no denying that these orders have the potential to reshape the political landscape and online discourse, as well as the relationship between government, big tech, and the American people. Well, as always, we here at GB News will be keeping a very close eye on these developments. We believe in the importance of free speech and the public's right to know what their government is doing in their name. And these executive orders will raise crucial questions about balance between free speech and content moderation, and about the role of government in the digital age and the accountability of both elected and unelected bureaucrats, of course, as many of those. So as this story unfolds, we'll be bringing you the latest updates, and we're going to dig deep into the implications of all these sweeping changes. But that's all for now. I'm Alex Armstrong, and please don't forget to subscribe to GB News YouTube channel. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, it's your voice that matters.